Hello my lovelies and welcome to today's video. I thought I would talk about the 3 recent animated TV shows that I've been watching recently. I think all of these I completed in February, so not too long ago at all. I'm going to start off with Twilight of the Gods. I think this aired in September 2024, so relatively new. This was such a gripping series. So far there's only one of them out. I don't know if there's any news for it to be made into more series or if this is kind of just it, even though the end did have like a cliffhanger to suggest that there could be more. This was a 4.5 star viewing for me. We follow Sigrid, who's on the quest of avenging her massacred family of giants at any cost. This version of the Viking gods was fantastic. If you know anything about me, you know that I love mythology, mainly Greek and Norse and Egyptian. To be honest, I like any kind of mythology, so I very much enjoyed this storytelling that we had from the Viking era. Thor was incredibly unhinged and terrified as a character, the way he was depicted and just the sheer design of him, like he was frightening and unsettling. The progression of the storytelling was fraught with emotion and action and had me hooked from the start. I think it only suffered because I didn't watch it all at once or in close succession, so potentially my enjoyment, I guess, or my ability to follow cohesively was hindered by me like longing it out for no reason basically. But this was a brilliant adult animated TV show. Next up, season 1 of Chainsaw Man. As you can see, I've got a collection of my characters here. I've got Power, Denji and Miss Makima. We are following a betrayal and murder of young Denji, who is left for dead, but he's reborn as a powerful devil-human hybrid and is soon enlisted into an organization dedicated to hunting devils. So you can see how the story might get a little bit complicated. This one I gave a 4.5 stars out of 5. I was honestly not expecting this to be so boob-centric. I went into it knowing pretty much next to nothing. So when it became clear that Denji's main goal in life and the thing that kind of urged him on to succeed was basically to get laid, you know, I was like, is this all that it's gonna be about? What's happening here? It's funny, but in my head I thought it can only be funny for so long. Like, what else is gonna impact the show, right? Of course, I stuck with it and I absolutely fell in love with the humour, the characters, the drama of it all. I need to know more about the strange mystery behind Miss Makima, the pink-haired one over there. End credits were great as well. There's always extra content kind of buried within it, whether that be a new scene entirely, particularly with the last episode of the season, little cutaway scenes to see what the group gets up to outside of work, as well as new music, which I always appreciate. It was a really fun show and I definitely recommend it, of course, for older watchers. And lastly, I watched Invincible season 2. So without getting too much into depth with it and potentially spoiling you guys, I'll kind of give you the generic synopsis of the TV show, at least like from the main standing of season 1. So we're following 17-year-old Mark Grayson, who is just like every other guy his age, except his father is Omni-Man, who's the most powerful superhero on the planet. Mark starts to develop powers of his own and discovers his father's legacy may not be as heroic as it all seems. I gave this season a 4 out of 5 stars. Season 2 got even more chaotic and violent than season 1 did, and that already was like, whoa. This really is for adults. I think the gruesome scenes, the humor definitely adds to it being explicit, but most importantly I think the complexity of our characters, they're just on such a deeper level, and there's so many layers in pretty much all of them. Characters you wouldn't even think about twice, they end up having more depth and more of an integral part to the story than you'd expect. Especially Mark. I mean, obviously Mark and his mum are like main characters, but with them in particularly, like, you can't help but feel for them and see that character growth. They are living through the aftermath of being associated with Omni-Man, it just never ends for them. They never get a break, especially with the building responsibility that Mark then has as he comes into his power and as the story develops throughout season 2. The level of depth this show carries is outstanding. We do have the much needed comic relief, timely placed, which definitely helps the burden of the traumatic storyline. But my one critique is how grossly bloody it is. Sometimes it just gets a little lost in the gore and the violence for the sake of it. I feel I'm not super offended by things like that personally, but I just find it does sort of distract from the story when there's like a lingering scene of someone's face getting punched into a bloody pulp. Do you know what I mean? It's just a bit like, okay, I get the point, can we move on to the unfolding of it now? But yeah, other than that, definitely recommend this show. I'm looking forward to finally getting into season 3. So those were the 3 animated TV shows. They're not really anime except for Chainsaw Man, but I thought I'd kind of bring them together and share the animated TV shows that I have been watching. If you guys have watched any of these yourselves, do let me know what you thought about them. And as always, if you have any recommendations, I'd love to hear it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in another video soon. Bye.